Thanks. Welcome, everybody. We're excited to have you here tonight. I love that as everyone's jumping on, I want to be really honest that I changed the name of this last minute because I thought it might scare a couple people. I was gonna call this creator versus control freak, just in case you guys needed that. I'm telling you that now, and I want you to just put in the chat, what percentage are you just tonight, just check in with yourself, where are you at? What percentage of control freak are you at today? And just put that in the chat, just own it. And then we'll talk a little bit about what that means tonight. But I think it's good to know that sometimes, you guys, I am 100% control freak. There are other times I'm 100% creator, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I want to start with talking about the 4 components. Okay, so most of us are pretty familiar with the 4 components. I actually got to do a health assessment today, and I love just going over these, right? So Dr. A has written us an amazing education system that helps walk us through the educational portion of changing our lives for a lifelong experience. And we're going to use some of what he taught us tonight. We have a coach who is grateful for their coach. Just take a minute and just give gratitude to your coach, because I am super grateful for the many, many things that I have received from this program and from my coach. Okay. And then our community, you guys, if you did not get to go to the party because you weren't in Utah Monday night, I just want you to know you were missed. My favorite part was that Amber just stood up and she started reading everyone's wins, and everyone was cheering each other on. And I thought everybody needs a community like this. Everybody needs a community where we can just read off the wins and just celebrate us. So it's really pretty cool. And then, of course, who doesn't love our wonderful fuelings and how easy they make the physical goals so we can really put into our lives in that mental way and better our financial situation, better our relationships and all those things. And so it's really, really exciting. So I just want to give a lot of gratitude and appreciation. I'll give a nod to Jared for appreciation in that tonight. So I'm going to get started. Let me just introduce myself real quick. So my name is Jennifer Oxford. You may or may not have seen my picture before. I feel like it got shared a lot at one point and maybe still does. But I started on this journey, gosh, we're going on two and 3/4, however we do that. I should just start rounding up to 3, I feel like. My husband is the expert at rounding up, so I should just take his lead. But my husband and I joined the Optavia community in early 2019, weighing about 1,000 pounds total. We were rocking it as the power couple. And we've lost over 500 pounds together with this amazing program. And I am so appreciative of all that is given us. So my background is as a therapist. I've been a licensed therapist and been working in the field for over 15. I probably need to round to the next numbers pretty soon here too, but 15 years now. And that's one of the first things I learned to love about Optavia is how spot on Dr. A is with all of his research and all of the things he teaches us. So I'm going to start with teaching from element 4 today and kind of go into what we started about, which was this idea of moving from creator or moving to creator from controlling. And I actually am really excited to add this to some things that we already know. So the next slide I'm going to show you is our wonderful leader, Dr. A. And guys, I wanted to show you his face. I don't think I knew what he looked like until I first went to convention. And then I was like, who's Dr. A? But I have such a great love for him. And he said a couple really powerful things, and these both come from the Habits of Health. He says, my goal for you, the whole point of Optavia, is for you to become the dominant force in your life. And I want you to see that dominant force as another way of saying a creator. He wants us to become a creator. And then he said, when you are internally, and this comes from element 4, when you are internally stable and have external equilibrium every day of your life, you will become all out magical. right? Who wants to be all out magical? When I think about all out magical, I think of little kids who are walking around in just that power place and they're pretending to save the world. And they're creating worlds of their own and all those other things. But that is so exciting. And he says that we do this, right? And this is what you need to remember, and this is where we're going to come, is we do this through the ability to respond to whatever, and that's a really big word, Dr. A, whatever life throws at you, and to respond in a way that will always help you in your life building process. So these are really big goals he brings into Optavia, into our mindset. And I want to talk about some ways that we go there and then we shift out of there. And so in the next slide, you're going to notice there's down at the bottom, there's the little drama triangle. If you haven't learned about it yet, I know your coach wants to send you more information about it, I promise. But we're going to talk about what's called the drift shift model. And at the top, there's the presence. I'm in creator mode. I am doing all I can do in my life. I'm excited. I'm in fat burn. I'm working on just pouring into the lives of the people around me and loving my life. And then, right, what happens? Well, something happens. It doesn't even matter what it is. It's even neutral. It's not a good or a bad thing, right? But there's a couple things where you say that Dr. A said, you have a series of daily. And I want you to think about that for a minute. Series means multiple, and daily. You have multiple opportunities a day to choose to stay in the presence or as the creator of your health. So we're doing this, you're doing this more than once a week, okay? Just in case you're wondering, it's more than just when you're on the phone with your coach. But that each something that happens to us, both good, bad, and maybe even neutral, is an opportunity to get better. And I love that he has that vision. And so I want to talk to you about, first of all, again, the drama triangle. And I'm going to go over it briefly again, but if you'll go to the next slide, there's an image in the life book and it has some extra words. It's got the drama triangle and it's got some extra words. And I want you to read those as I read them and ask yourselves, who's in control here? Because drifting into the drama is all about focusing on who's in control or out of control. It's all there, right? Something's being done to me. It's not fair, right? Those are all, I'm out of control, right? I'm here to save the day. I'm enabling all the victims. I have all the control and all the power, right? Or villain, who's at fault, or I blame you or them or myself, right? I refuse to take control. And as you start to realize that the drama triangle that he's been teaching us about for years is really about control, I had this wonderful aha moment I want to share with you guys. I want to share you with a tool that my friend who's also a therapist, his name's Brandon Patrick, he created this tool. And when I heard it, I just went to him and I said, Brandon, where'd you get it from? Because I love it and I want to read more about it. And he said, I created it myself. And I'm like, you're a genius. Can I use it and teach my wonderful health coaching family? And he said, absolutely. And he has come up with the 5 H's of control. These are ways for you to check in with yourself about ways that you might be trying to control versus create health. And I'm going to go over each one, but I want you to look at this image and just know that there are 5. The first one is hovering, right? I came up with the helicopter. That was the image that came to my mind, partly because I learned about parenting right around the time that everyone was calling people helicopter parents. But we're going to talk about how we hover our own health. And then hating, right? We're going to talk about how hate is one of the ways we try to control. And then hugging that teddy bear that seems so innocent, and isn't it good to hug and, love on everything, and shouldn't we just love everything to death? And then hopeless. What is hopelessness actually hopelessness, or is it a form of us trying to take control of a situation? And then the last one is hiding. And we're going to talk about each of these and what it looks like. And I'm going to have a question for each one. So as you're paying attention, the first one we're going to talk about is our good old teddy bear hugging. And I want to tell you, I want to stick really true to Brandon, but if I was to use Optavia language, I might use the word hack here. If you ever wondered why we say hacking isn't the way to go, it is because hacking is a type of control. It's the same as hugging. when we focus on meeting those emotional needs, like I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to go without, I don't know what you don't want to go without. I don't want to go without butter on this, even though I already had my condiments for the day, or I don't want to call my coach. It's so uncomfortable to get on the phone, right? These are all times that we are just trying to control our discomfort, right? And we intentionally avoid. And so I want you real quick to just take a moment and ask yourself and put in the chat, what are ways that you hug your health? What are things that you're avoiding or saying, it's okay if I don't do that? And giving that permission to just say, I'm going to stay in comfort all the time, right? Because if I'm in the comfort zone, I'm not growing, but I'm also always comfortable. I love it. Absolutely. Too many nuts. Yes, Christy. Yeah, they are called buffers. Amber, absolutely. That's another great term we use. Exercise, right? I'm just going to exercise the extra calories off. That would be hugging, right? Hacking everything with extra PB Fit. Nobody does that, right? You guys, none of you. Okay, so I just want you to kind of get in your mind that idea of what am I hugging, and ask yourself that. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. The next one, avoiding telling something it's uncomfortable. I don't need to tell them. I'm being really nice by not telling them. I love that one, Amber. But let's go to hovering, right? We all probably understand this idea of hovering. I have this military plane, right? How many of you are hovers? Just take a minute and ask yourself that. Are you hovering over your health, right? And I want you to think about what this might mean as I tell you the definition. This is when you are constantly directing and critiquing each step in an attempt to force a specific outcome, right? Some of you might hover around something called a scale. You might hover, constantly weighing yourself. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know whether I'm going to go up 2 pounds or down 2 pounds. And if I did, then I'm out of control and all these things. Or we might hover around, I really, really want my family member to join me. And so I'm constantly trying to control their journey, right? But I just want you to put in the chat, you guys, some way that you try and hover over your health, right? If you're an all or nothing thinker, I promise you're hovering. Lots of water, yep, keeping yourself busy, right? I can't have downtime, that's not safe. Hovering over our families or our friends, right? There are times that Matt and I even hover over each other. That never goes well, right? All or nothing in the scale, absolutely, right? Oh, you guys, and I think I love that you're being able to connect this, because as you connect it, you're going to be able to move forward in your own journey. So we're going to go on to the next one. Hating, right? And I love this little girl, because sometimes we think of hating as a big, strong, angry, grumpy old ogre, right? But hating is more than that. Hating is about using any intense emotion, including anger, shame, or even blame, to justify a choice and give yourself a permission to excuse a choice, right? And this can be anything. I don't like the way something tastes, so I'm not going to do it, right? I don't like the way so-and-so talks, so I'm not going to that webinar, right? I don't like this, so I'm not doing it, right? And we are actually keeping ourselves, we're controlling, again, our discomfort, and we're moving out of it. And so put in the chat for a minute, something, if you're willing to own it, something you are currently giving yourself permission to avoid as part of your health that you are hating. I think sometimes I hate exercise. Like if I'm really honest, I'll hate it a little bit, but then until I do it, and then I'm fine. When I move into the creator of exercise, I'm fine. But when I'm in my hating, doesn't work. Oh, Christina, you're same, right? Or I have heard a couple clients say they hate drinking water. I don't know. Jared doesn't like the oatmeal. I got you, Jared. He doesn't like the snow either. That's called hating, Jared. I'm harassing him, but I want you to think about these things and understand that this is just you trying to say, I don't know how to deal with this. It might make me uncomfortable. I might have unprocessed emotion. And so I need to just tell myself it's bad, right? And I need to put a lot of emotion behind it so that I can feel really justified in not doing it, right? I hate limited foods, right? We tell ourselves, I hate not having stuff, that mentality. Okay, let's go to the next one. Hiding. You guys, this is my personal one. Like if I look through these and I say, what do I go most often? I will tell you that I am a hider, and I look at this little girl under the bed. That's the image I use for hiding, right? And ask yourself, are you hiding? Are you denying you're struggling? Are you showing up in your head and just saying, I'm doing great? No, my health's not where I want to be, or no, I'm not, but I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm hiding from all of it. I'm even hiding from my goals and my dreams, right? And I'm hiding from, and just go ahead and put in the chat if you can think of something you're hiding from. I'm ignoring the plan. I'm ignoring the need. I've been writing my health journey this month, and I will tell you that I've constantly been reminded about how many times I just gave myself permission to not pay attention, right? I promise you that you do not get to be over 400 pounds by paying attention. You have to hide. It's how you do it, right? Isolating, yes, Christina, not using all 4 components. Which component are you currently hiding from? Can you guys own it? Can you own it? Just ask yourself, right? Hiding from your emotions. We do that. Most of the time, that is what, like I said, unprocessed emotions are showing up. But I want you to think about, what are you isolating yourself from? When I first found out about Optavia, and they said that there were events, and I remember Matt came to me and he said, hey, there's going to be an event at the library and you should come. And I said, honey, I work all week. That was my response. I work all week. He worked all week too, but he wanted to go. And so he went. And then when I first went to my first event, I thought, what am I hiding from? This is not worth hiding. I have hid from my coach, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you've hid from your coach. Just throw that out there, right? Just own it for a minute and see if you're willing to just say, yeah, I did that, so that you can shift, right? I've drifted into that type of hiding. Have you hid from the whole community? Have you just given up, right? And that's going to move it into, but I really want you to focus on just saying, I do sometimes isolate, and I ignore the results of what I'm doing, right? Some people might even say, I can't remember what the phrase is, like they look at the holidays as an off season, right? How many people, and you just own it for yourself, right? Not for everyone else, but how many people are giving themselves an out? How many people are saying, you know what? Christmas is coming. We're going to have Christmas dinner and we're going to go to your sister's before that. So we're just going to stop being on plan tomorrow. Like that makes sense, right? Right. And that's just part of hiding versus trying to say, okay, I'm trying to show up and decide, what do I want to create? And if I come from a place of creating, then I can make a better decision. Okay, let's go to the last one. Okay, the last one will probably feel familiar. This is a really big one personally. I actually had weight loss surgery in 2007 and was sure that there was no way that I could lose weight. If the surgeons couldn't fix me, nobody could, you guys. I had fully convinced myself, and when I look back, I had done it for decades, that I had no power over the situation with my health, right? And I was just a victim to a genetic experience, and I just wasn't going to try. I was willing to try in all the other areas, but I'm not willing to try in this one, right? And I want you to just check in with yourself. And if you're willing to be a little vulnerable in the chat, what are you hopeless about in your health? What have you just given up? What are you not trying on, right? It might be one of the 4 components. It might be paying it forward, right? It might be sharing this with somebody it could help. It could be so many things. Yeah. Hiding from, is it even worth liking myself? Absolutely. And I want you to just notice that as you take that thing and allow yourself to partner with your coach in the community and this process, that hope is not ever something I have found when I am fully in the program, especially Monday night when we were reading all those wins. I thought there is so much hope here, right? It's one of the reasons that Matt and I share our story, is because We want people to have hope. I know what it feels like to not have hope, and I really want other people to see that there is hope out there. It's one of the reasons that I constantly encourage our community to share this wonderful gift that we have, right? I want you to take a minute. Yes, it was the perfect excuse, Steph. It was the perfect excuse. I used it for many years. And I want you to just take a minute, and we're going to go back now and look at the opposite of the drama triangle. And the opposite of the drama triangle, and I couldn't find these words specifically, but having done a lot of research in therapy, I'll tell you, it's actually called the empowerment dynamic. I call it TED because sometimes I teach teenagers and I say, let's use our friend Ted here. So if you ever want to call it TED, feel free, right? But there's a couple things, and this actually comes from this idea of the empowerment dynamic and moving to creator, right? Creators choose how they want to react in life. You choose, right? They know that they are not at the mercy of anyone else's power over them. Isn't that cool? It might take some work, but you can get there, right? So when you're in this place of creator, we've gotten out of the control, we're letting the control freak go. You might have to shake it off a little bit harder. You might have to listen to this once or twice. You might have to call your coach and say, okay, I'm a control freak. Maybe I'm less or more of a control freak than I thought, right? I'm in fear, I'm letting those things happen. But I want you to say that nobody's responsible for your current health. And I put some people, your family, you're not just big boned. Promise. I know I did that. So it's just a hiding phrase. I used it, I'll be honest, right? It's not your environment. You couldn't get healthy if just this other person would do something. You're not their victim. It's not your calendar. You're not controlled by that. You get to create what your calendar means to you. It's you. You become the creator of your own health. And I think that's really exciting. And you guys, I want to leave tonight with a couple action steps. Okay, I want you to think about these things because this is what's going to move this from just a psychoeducational moment of, hey, I heard this therapist say this thing, to I actually want to move into creator in my life. Okay, and I want you to pick at least one of these. Okay, one, real quick, pull out your phone. You can do it now during the webinar. Text your coach your most common control response, right? I'm just going to text, I am a hider. My name is, right? And just own it for a minute and let yourself be aware of it. Awareness moves us to change. Okay. Identify when you're drifting into drama, when you're trying to focus on who's in control versus what you want to create. That's really important. And I really encourage you to post the empowerment triangle in your house. Ask yourself every day, what would I do if I was in the creator role? Right? That's down actually lower, right? We talked actually at convention and that term of what would IPD, whatever do. And I thought, you know what, we need to broaden this for everyone, right? What would creator Jennifer do? And it's going to be the same answer, you guys. Please continue to connect to the community. You know, whether it's on Facebook, come to the events, celebrate with us, struggle with us. We're all in there together. And then really make time for your life book. All of this information is so that you can have a lifelong transformation, right? And as we're doing that, I'm super excited to introduce Laura. She's my very good friend, and she's going to tell her story. And I just want you guys to hear just how wonderful she is.
Hi, thanks, Jen. Well, I have struggled with my weight for most of my life. I used to hover over my health by trying almost every diet, reading many health books, and purchasing unused exercise equipment. I've lost many pounds and gained many pounds back. For me, it was all about my family. My husband and I have 6 children. We had 4 kids, whom we call our bigs, and then we had a 7-year gap and then had 2 more children that we actually call our littles. My husband is very much an outdoorsman and he loves to be outside. And if he could support our family while hiking for a living, that's what he would choose to do. When our bigs were little, he was always taking them on fantastic outdoor adventures. And at first they would ask if I wanted to go with them. Now I realize I was trying to hide from discomfort. So I always said no because I knew I was going to hurt, I would be tired, and then I would be grumpy. And no one wants a grumpy mom. Eventually, my family stopped asking if I wanted to go with them and just started telling me their plans and when to expect them home. I now recognize I was giving myself permission not to go because I hated the way I felt. When the pattern began to repeat itself with my littles and they stopped asking if I wanted to go on adventures too, I became aware my family was supporting me avoiding discomfort, and I knew I had a problem. It was about this time that I also began having some health issues, and so I went to the doctor. I was told that I was pre-diabetic and precancerous, and I needed to lose 50 pounds or I was going to have serious health issues. The doctor suggested weight loss pills and speaking with a nutritionist, but I knew how to lose the weight and I was determined to do it myself. 1 year later, I was back at the doctor and things had gotten worse. I was now 15 pounds heavier and surgery was needed to remove those precancerous cells. After surgery, I was counseled to again lose the 50 pounds or I was looking at type 2 diabetes. At this point, I felt hopeless and overwhelmed. I had seen my amazing sister-in-law posting about her weight loss journey. So I decided I would try one more time. At least I could tell the doctor I tried. So in February of 2019, I started my health journey. I've released 90 pounds, but I have gained so much more. I'm creating a life where I can go, and play with my family and easily keep up with, if not outrun them. I've moved from attempting to control my health to creating an environment where I choose how to respond and connect with the people that I love most.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Laura, for sharing your powerful story that needed to be shared. So I appreciate you. And my name is Curly Freckleton. I'm just going to be wrapping us up. This has been such an amazing Healthy Together time. Thanks so much, Jen. Just as a wrap up, Optavia is a $1 billion brand and it's affected 2 million lives so far and is the second fastest growing company. And my quick story is I became a coach about 8 years ago after just not feeling fulfilled in life. I was looking for some way to help people transform their lives. And I wanted more fulfillment in my life. I wanted more time freedom and I wanted better income. And so I looked into coaching and I just started to do it on the side just for fun. It was so easy to keep it simple. And I ended up loving it and doing more and more until I quit my full-time job. And so we are going to be switching gears for the last few minutes to talk about coaching some people are on, just to learn about that. It might not be for you, but it's sometimes nice just to have the information. So I'll just wrap up for a few minutes. You're welcome to stay on if you're curious. Head back to the slides.